Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our bond cash transfer GL Journal Town Hall. Today we'll be going over bond cash transfer GL Journal functionality in Fiscal. This is now live in Fiscal for your departments, and we would like you to begin using it. As a summary, most bond cash transactions can now be processed through GL Journals directly in Fiscal. Just for your information, these types of GL journals are used to transfer cash from bond proceeds fund to bond expenditure fund for all bond-related AP vouchers. If you have a bond cash transfer with multiple transaction codes, for example, you have a TC38 and a TC24 in one, or you're doing multiple business units or departments, you'll still need to do a paper transaction request form to SCO, as you've been doing so far. So in an effort to make sure every department and every user understands how to do a bond cash transfer, we have created a video for you. So I will go ahead and play that video. First, I wanted to direct everybody to our Fiscal YouTube. So the Fiscal YouTube is something that you'll see if you type Fiscal into the search bar when you go to YouTube. It'll pop up like this. And what I do request everybody does is click subscribe in order so that way you see when new recordings of town halls like this are posted, or we do new Fiscal TV sessions, as well as doing any type of video content that we create for training. So the one that we're looking at here is the Fiscal TV bond cash transfer for AP voucher video. I'll go ahead and open this. Remember, you can always use closed captioning or subtitles if you need it directly in YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and start the video. Welcome to Fiscal TV's How-To series. In this video, we will cover creating a GL journal for a bond cash transfer. The purpose of a bond cash transfer GL journal is to transfer cash from the bond proceeds fund to the bond expenditure fund for all bond-related AP vouchers. After you have created your bond expenditure voucher, begin by navigating to the Create Update Journal Entries page. Once you reach the page, enter your department's business unit and the journal date for the transaction. The journal date must be 2 business days prior to the related voucher scheduled due date. This means that a voucher scheduled for Thursday, January 9th, 2020 would have a journal date of Tuesday, January 7th, 2020. Click Add. In the Header tab, you will enter the same types of information that your department would include in a transaction request form for a bond cash transfer, including the journal description, legal authority, and reason for request. Be sure to include your BU number, voucher ID, and scheduled due date of the voucher in the journal description field. Enter BDCT into the SCO type of transaction field. Attach any related documents as you do today. Click the Lines tab. In the Lines tab, enter the appropriate chart field values for each journal line. Remember, do not enter the pending cash account, as due to due from accounts will automatically populate. For bond cash transfers, in each line you must enter the related AP voucher using the specific format of capital VCHR-voucher ID in the transaction description field. If the noted format is not used, the bond cash transfer query will not identify the transaction. This may result in delays in the SEO approval process. Complete budget check and submit for approvals per the usual process. After the GL journal is approved by your department approver, it will workflow to SEO for final approval. After you have completed and approved your bond cash transfer GL journal, you can navigate to the bond cash transfer query to review the transactions. Begin by navigating to the query viewer page. Enter the query ZZ underscore GL underscore BCT underscore QRY. Use the fields from journal date and to journal date to narrow the selection of your transactions. If you are looking for something specific, you could also enter the voucher ID or journal ID. Click View Results. After the query has loaded, confirm that your GL journal is linked to the correct AP voucher by comparing the journal ID and voucher ID headers. Here, you can also check the status of both GL journals and AP vouchers as needed. For more information, refer to JobAid Fiscal 404. If you have any questions, please reach out to the FSC at Fiscal Service Center at fiscal.ca.gov. All right, hope you guys liked that video. If you'd like to see more content similar to that, please let us know. I'd like to also refer you to the JobAid Fiscal 404. So the JobAid Fiscal 404 is something that you can find on ServiceNow under the knowledge search. And if you go to the job aids, right now it's at the top, but if not, you could just search 404 and you'll see the job aid with all of the bond cash transfer context. So starting on page 15, we have this whole section with additional details that you can reference if you'd like to for any additional or for any of your bond cash transfer questions. And then we'd like to note that for now, we're requesting departments in these two groups to use the bond cash transfer functionality in Fiscal. As time rolls on, the goal is to roll this out to all departments. SCO is currently monitoring the transaction volume to make sure that all of these are approved in a timely manner. So I just want to reiterate some best practices. These were also in the video, some of these at least. In the legal or the journal description, legal authority and reason for request box, you're going to want to include information for yourself and the approver. You want to make sure for bond cash transfers to use the source BDCT, so that way it workflows to SCO for approval and the right approvers see it, as well as it appears on the bond cash transfer query. And what we've seen so far is that departments are entering the pending cash accounts. There is no need to do so. In fact, that's not a good thing, so don't do it. The due to, due from accounts will auto-populate for bond cash transfers. Then you have to use that specific format in the transaction description field on the lines of your bond cash transfer, and that's VCHR dash, and then just your voucher ID that you're referencing. All right, so that's all we have content-wise. This is now going to be your time to ask us questions. I think we have a few lined up.
We have one question. They're asking a question regarding Job Aid 404 about pending cash. Could you explain why there is no need to keep pending cash?
We also today have with us Nancy Tudlos from SCO to help us with questions.
As stated in the job aid, the pending cash is no longer needed because when you save your GL journal, the due to, due from accounts will auto-populate for you.
Sounds like we're saving you a little bit of extra work.
Thank you. And the next question that we have is what about claim schedules that need cash transfers?
You can go ahead and send paper transactions for those.
Thank you. Could you let us know the reason for stopping the use of pending cash, or what was the technical reason?
The use of pending cash was never required.
Well, in an effort to keep these town halls short and relevant, we're giving you the opportunity to ask questions.
We have another question. How do you determine the cash type?
I'm sorry, can you elaborate what you mean by cash type?
Okay, we'll move on to the next question. Will pending cash entry still be generated for cash reclassified entry for other type JE?
I believe this will remain the same.
Is this referring to TC38 transfer?
Yes, it's TC38 bond cash transfers.
We understand it was never required, but why stop using pending cash now?
It would be the right business process to go ahead and let the journal auto-populate the due to, due from.
The subfund is different for the T and R account. If cash account is not needed, will it create system GL error?
No, it will balance by fund and it will create due to, due from accounts.
If there are issues with fiscal transfer account balances, can we send paper transactions as a workaround for vouchers? For the person who sent in that question, could you further elaborate? For Salvador, the question that you just asked, could you please send in an example of that and elaborate and submit a ticket, and then we'll be able to get back to you on that one.
You can go ahead and send in a paper transaction or paper or expedites. And also, please do not do a manual catch-up for that journal.
Pending cash account is not used. System will generate due to and due from and trial balance report. Is there a need to clear those accounts to zero?
From what I understand, it will be systematically cleared.
Is there a job aid besides 404?
In terms for the the bond cash transfer, no, there is not.
We do have the video that I just played on YouTube if you need more help. But if the job aid doesn't answer your question and the video doesn't answer the question, you can also send a ticket in to Fiscal Service Center at fiscal.ca.gov.
The next question is asking specifically about what page on the job aid are the agency groups that are required to start this process.
So the page is starting on page 15. We have additional instructions under table 8 for bond cash transfers. And then the first appendix below that on page 16 has the full chart of all the BUs. And these are all the BUs that we believe are using bond cash transfers today based on the data that we received from SCO. So if you're not in this table or you're later, if you're not in this table and you feel like you should be, please let us know. And then if you're a later department and you're on this call, we recommend waiting until your release date to start transacting. However, you're able to do so right now in Fiscal. But SCO is slowly migrating the whole process from paper whenever possible to be done in Fiscal. And hopefully that is a more efficient process for you as well.
The next question is, we see some of our BUs for pending cash and due to from GL. We always have to submit tickets to clear. It's not automatic.
If I'm not mistaken, there was a deployment in regards to the systematic clearing of that back in November. So departments no longer need to do that. But there may be some balances left this year prior to the deployment.
Does this BCD process only apply for AP vouchers for now?
Yes.
Amy, you asked, is there a project requirement? Could you please clarify and expand on that question? The next question is, FSC took away the requirement to clear before MEC. However, by year end, BU still need to clear it. But the automatic process you are referring to is not doing it timely.
So my understanding is Fiscal is actively working on improving the pending cash clearing, the due to from clearing process, and that should be rolling out over the next several months in different stages for different modules to improve the situation. For now, follow the current business process that you have to send a ticket to FSC if you do see a balance, and they will manage that process, and ideally we'll see less and less over time.
The next question is, do we have an option to use the pending cash account to avoid sending tickets to clear system error?
It is not recommended that you use pending cash for the GL journals for the bond cash transfers.
We have currently answered all of the questions. If you still have questions, feel free to continue sending them in.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We're going to be live for about another 10 minutes. So we'll have our SMEs here to answer questions. For now, I'm going to go off camera. And then if no more questions are coming in, then we'll close down the town hall. Thank you.
So we received a few more. First one is, do we have an option to use the pending cash account to avoid sending? This one was answered. What is the offset account for the automatically due from reversal by the system?
It's cash and state treasury or general cash for CTS funds.
So there was a clarification to a previous question. They're asking for meaning that we have to submit the ticket when the pending cash error shows up in TB.
That is correct.
We have a question. They're asking, can we still send in paper TR as a workaround for voucher in case of issues in Fiscal?
For now, paper transactions will be accepted by SEO. However, the goal is to do the manual bond cash transfer in Fiscal whenever possible.
For the bond expenditure, we are required to fill in a project. Do we need to fill in a project when we do a cash transfer to cover that expenditure?
To answer your question, Amy, is that how you would currently do it when you send in a paper transaction? If the answer is yes, then I would suggest doing the same in Fiscal. If the answer is no, then again, you would do that in Fiscal.
We're going to do a last call for questions now. So if you have any last questions that you wanted to ask, please send them in. One question is, cash account has tax exempt and non-tax exempt. How do you determine which one to use? We will get back to you on that one. Are any attachments needed for the journal?
Again, if it's needed in your current business process, when you send a paper transaction to SEO, then you would do that in Fiscal as well.
Thank you, everybody, for your questions. It looks like we're not receiving any more, but if you do, please send an email to FSC at fiscalservicecenter@fiscal.ca.gov. And we're going to be closing the town hall now. Thank you for attending.